hopefully the audio like matches. But anyway, we got a different setup today, as you can tell. We have my brother as our guest, and he's all the way in Arizona. So he's going to be joining us today to talk about the revenge drop. It takes place today, which will probably have already dropped by the time this video goes up. I was looking through it, and like personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. And then also I was looking at the comments, and usually all the revenge drop, they get really positive feedback and everybody's like, oh, this is really cool, this is really cool. But this is actually like the first one that I've seen where a lot of people are like, oh, this drop's full of bricks, or like, I'm just going for this piece and then I'm done because the rest of the drop's kind of trash. Or people are like, oh, kind of disappointed in Garrett, don't know what he's doing with this. And I kind of agree with it. There's not really anything that really stands out to me as like a good piece.
You know, and when they're like not dropping anything with like the classic revenge logo on it as far as tees and hoodies go, I can see why people would, you know, kind of be disappointed.
I'm just not a huge fan of the like sequin kind of like bedazzled look. I think that type of fashion is like a little dated, or actually pretty dated. The bedazzle gun, whenever that was hot, it was that was kind of the prime time, and then died out real quick.
I think sequins are coming back. I think it's early in the cycle, but I think you're gonna see it more because you see like Juice WRLD rocking it and Uzi rocking it. And
their brand is really dark as a whole, and leans more towards like grunge and stuff. But then they throw on this like bedazzled and glitter rainbow colors, so it really like kind of contradicts it. But I guess that makes a cool piece for a lot of people. Out of the whole drop, I probably like the sweatshirt the most. The first top left sweatshirt the most. And I really like the Revenge like motion blur logo that they did. Really reminds me of the Supreme one, but the Supreme one didn't go both ways. It just kind of went one way. But yeah, it blurred in a really similar fashion. I'm not a huge fan of it because what's on the back? It just doesn't have like any aesthetic like appeal being upside down as opposed to being the right way. Like maybe if it was a cooler graphic that looked like something upside down.
The front of this hoodie is so wild. I don't really think they needed to do that extra upside down logo, you know?
That's also,
I feel like the kill shot graphic though. The kill shot graphic I think is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's really different too because they do the like circle like kind of cut on the image instead of just like the regular box one that a lot of people usually do, even them usually do. I think this is like the first time I've seen them use kind of like a circular cut of an image. But yeah, if you want to talk about the pink hoodie.
Yeah, this one's kind of a wild piece. I mean, pink in itself is pretty wild, and then you add the bejeweling, but I think like on this one the design from front to back is a little more consistent, like keeping with that bejeweling, bedazzling between the skull and the Revenge logo, and I think the style of both of those logos is pretty consistent. So I like this. I wish they would have done it in black too, or maybe like or maybe even white with like black behind the bedazzling. I still think this is gonna be a popular piece.
Or those tees, that graphic in general, I guess underneath it says "Our troubles are God's."
Yeah, you got anything on the pink hoodie?
No, I'm not a fan of it. I'm
really
bedazzling. I'm out.
Okay.
I don't even really respect, like, there are things that I see and I know I don't like them, but I respect them, you know. And this is one of those ones that like I see it and I know I don't like it, but I also don't respect it just because like I don't know.
You don't respect it, okay.
No. Moving on to the actual tees with the same graphic as the first hoodie. There's not really much difference, obviously, except the t-shirt version. I personally like the negative adaptation of the logo instead of the actual just like original colored version. I think that one works a lot better, but I wouldn't get that shirt. If anything, I go for the hoodie. Out of everything that Revenge has dropped, I think this is a very weak drop. You know, getting into the cooler months, Garrett said that these are the last shorts that they're dropping for the year, so
yeah,
I mean that makes sense. But yeah, so it'll be cool to see some other stuff take that place. Maybe they'll fill it up with like some sweatpants, or I know they have pants that they've been working on, so maybe that'll take the place.
I haven't really been a fan of the old school basketball shorts. I think this is a cool take on it, you know, with the like skull and crossbones and the Revenge logo being a little bit like punk for something that doesn't really see a punk adaptation often.
In the previous drop, in a red and then kind of like a baby blue colorway also. But yeah, I think these are all right. I do like how they have the like taped seam pockets. I think that's pretty nice, or at least it looks like they do. Maybe they're just kind of like a hidden seam pocket. But I really don't like that skull and crossbones logo. I just think it's so tacky looking. Like if they did a logo kind of like what's on the tee, I think that would have been like a lot cooler. Maybe if they did that in kind of like a more cartoony take. But just that skull and crossbone, I think, is really tacky. It looks like something you'd find off of like clip art.
It almost looks like if you were, a high school creating your team's logo. It's like, yeah, this is what I pick. This is what we're gonna put on all of our uniforms. What do you think of that?
I like their like kind of classic logo on the hat more. I'm not a huge fan of this. But yeah, and then you got a Galaxy phone.
No, that's
case.
an iPhone 10.
So-
I don't know.
I think that is one of the Samsungs. But yeah, and then the last one on the bottom right, you have a passport holder. I like the design. If it was like a wallet, I'd get it, but I have no use for a passport holder at this point in my life, so can we get overall thoughts on the drop?
Overall thoughts, yeah, I think this is one of the weaker ones, but I don't think they're all bricks. I think the pink with the sequins is gonna, be really popular in its small segments. Like some people are gonna just love it, and like you're gonna see some people really kill it with some. I think my favorite piece out of all these is probably the Kill Shot hoodie. Yeah, what's your favorite piece? What are your overall opinions?
Yeah, so overall, I think it's pretty weak, especially compared to the previous drops we've been getting. Like last night, I was looking back at all of them, and I was like, yeah, this just doesn't have any pieces that like compare really to what we've usually been getting with every drop. I was expecting a lot better stuff. But yeah, overall, definitely the Kill Shot hoodie is my favorite. But that being said, probably not going for any of it. You want to send them out?
Everybody, comment down below if you like it, if you hate it, what your favorite piece is. Good luck if you try to cop. Bye.